left side together. Today we have Dharma real brother. Today is on May 14, 2021. We are also at Nhãn temple, and we have a good chance to meet together. Right now we have Dharma brother Minh Đạo and Hila here. And first of all, I would like to introduce brother Minh Đạo and Hila here. And right now I would like to invite brother Minh Đạo to say something, and Hila say something. How can we meet here? How can we meet here right now? Minh Đạo first.
So, whole story?
Yes.
Whole story. Okay. So, about 2.5 years ago, decided to study Buddhism wholeheartedly, trying to learn as much as I could, but never really found a sangha. And then, of course, the pandemic hit, so that made finding a sangha even more difficult. But eventually, I got very impatient and fed up with trying to study by myself. I didn't know what exactly to pursue in order, so I felt kind of lost in the studying things probably way over my head. So I decided to try and find a local temple. Of course, like any millennial, decided to search Google, and I was able to find one temple fairly close to me. But of course, nothing was still open. But being impatient, I decided to just drive up there myself and kind of show up and be like, "I'm here, someone teach me, please." So I packed up, I did a little studying, and I was like, "What should I do when I go to a temple?" And it said recommended bringing some merits, so I got a bag of some fruits and food to go and take and offer to the altar and offer to the Buddha. And I showed up. And there wasn't any monks there, no nuns. It was just a caretaker who was waiting for a guy to show up to fix a shower. So I show up, and the guy thinks it's me, because I guess he was expecting a dude with long hair, and at the time I had long hair, and a truck to show up. And I was there apparently at the time he was supposed to be there. So he comes in and goes, "Hey, James, thank you for coming. I'm glad you made it." And I'm thinking here, I'm like, how did he know? At this time, I didn't know he wasn't a monk. He was still wearing like a gray practice robe, and I was like, "Oh, this guy has like psychic powers." He knew I was showing up, and then so he walks me into the temple, and then we go into the bathroom, and I'm like, "Is this normal?" And then he shows me the shower, and he starts fiddling with it, and he didn't speak English very well. And so apparently he thought I was there to work on their plumbing, fix a shower. And I tried to explain to him, I was like, "Oh, I don't think I'm who you think I am." And I think he thought, "Oh, you must know James, so he sent you instead." But I'm like, No. I'm not a plumber, not a repairman. I can help you if you want. I'm pretty handy. But eventually we both got the hint what was going on. And he goes, "Oh," I said, "I'm just here to learn the Dharma. I'm trying to find a sangha to learn about." And he goes, "Oh," and he was really nice, and he showed me around the temple, showed me what used to be the garden. This was just after the giant Texas freeze, so everything was basically dead. But he was like, "Yeah, these are where we normally have flowers and vegetables. This is our new statue. We're going to build this pagoda." And he's like, "But there's no monks here. They're all, I guess, off doing other things, or they're in other temples right now." And he goes, "But," he's like, "let me give you someone's phone number that they're an American monk named Ron Zimmerman." And I was like, "That's an extremely Anglo name." So I was like, "Awesome! I can at least speak with him and speak in English and at least get some of my questions answered." And so he gave me the number, and I sent an email to this gentleman, and we set up a Zoom meeting, and he recommends that I go to a Saturday Zoom service that he had with a gentleman named Ty Kozen for a temple up in Washington. But for the meantime, I was still very eager to find a local sangha, somewhere where I could get in contact with and start a community. So I hopped on Google again and decided to search around, and there are a lot of temples in this area, but a lot of them didn't have any English on their websites. They were either just cover pages with basic information on, this is our phone number, this is our address, or there just wasn't anything in English. And I didn't really have the patience to copy and paste everything in Google Translate and try to figure it out. So I'm going down the list and I see Pháp Nan's website, and I was like, all right, I'll give this a try, just clicking. Just to see what's on the website. And the first thing you log in is, do you want English or do you want Vietnamese? And I was like, well, at least there's an English option here. So I click on that and I open the page, and it's just a ton of information. I mean, it's just articles straight off, pictures, right off the bat, tons of tabs with Dharma articles and poems and art and just a ton of information. I was like, well, at least this temple is trying to be a presence online. So during COVID, you can't go anywhere, so all communication is done through the internet. I was like, well, at least they have a lot of internet content. I was like, good, so I'll start here. And I saw that there was at that time it was winter retreat. So on Zoom, 5 days a week, log in, at least learn the Dharma. At that time, we were learning the 8 or 10 methods, I forget.
Right.
10 methods of herding buffalo. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not sure what that means, but I'd like to learn. So I log in, and the interesting thing is, for a few days I was going to the online Zoom retreat, and then I finally had my meeting with Ron Zimmerman, who goes by Tai Z. Thich Minh Tin is his full name, but he goes by Tai Z because Zimmerman is quite difficult for a lot of people that English isn't their first language. Zimmerman's a tongue twister, so he just goes by Tai Z. And I had mentioned to him that I've been going visiting an online Zoom meeting here in Pháp Nan with Venerable Trung Si, and he goes, oh, I know him. And I was like, wait, what? And he goes, yeah, I know him. And the interesting thing is, so the first gentleman I talked to, his name was Reverend Lee at the temple that didn't have any monks. He thought it was a guy named James. I met with Tai Z, and he thought my name was some guy named Chris. And he goes, oh, hey, Chris, nice to see you again. I was like, no, I'm Mike. We emailed, and he's like, oh, yeah. The first time I joined the online Sangha with Trung Si here, he thought I was another Michael. He goes, oh, welcome back. It's been a year. And I said, I've never been to the temple. Apparently there was another gentleman named Michael George or Michael Green who had been. So I see the confusion. Every person I talked to, every monk or every lay person was like, oh, you're this other person that we were expecting. Welcome back. And I'm like, this is my first time I'm meeting all these people. And Tai Z knew Trung Si. Trung Si, of course, knew Tai Z. I started going to the Saturday Zoom meetings with Tai Kozin. He also, of course, knows Tai Z and Trung Si. And I'm like, it's like every monk in Buddhism just know each other. I was like, this is very interesting. But what later I came to find out is that, when you get on a path, the doors kind of open up for you. So it was kind of serendipitous that all these masters that I was coming in contact with were all part of the Vietnamese Buddhist lineage, or at least Vietnamese Zen Buddhism, or whichever version. So there was already a very strong community throughout the entire United States. And so at least I knew, I was like, well, I must be at least on the right path a bit here, since everyone seems to know each other, and they all think they know me before I even meet them. So I just, since then, I've been going to all of Trung Si's Zoom retreats, and then first time coming here, took the 3 refuges and the 10 mindfulness precepts, and just been on the path now.
Already.
Yeah, and hopefully here very soon, take novice vows and start the full-on path to, fully cultivating the Buddhist path. So
Wonderful. brother have Vietnamese name.
Yeah.
Dharma name, right? And right now, Minh Đạo means what the meaning of Minh Đạo?
It means the right path or the right path, right dharma, right teaching, right teacher, just on the right road, basically. Yeah.
And right direction.
Right direction. Yeah.
The meaning us. And right now, this thank you, brother Minh Đạo. Right now, I would like to invite brother Hy Lạc. Vietnamese name in Dharma name. Right now, he tell about story of how can we meet together.
Yeah.
Yes.
How we met was I'm a big music fan, so I've been coming to Austin, traveling to Austin. At this time, at the point in time, I was living in Michigan, and I was here for a long weekend for a musical event, and was going home on a Monday, I believe, or Sunday or Monday, and was in line at the airport to go through security. So the line snaked back on itself a couple times, and I was talking to some musicians from South America, and I said, hey, I think that guy's Buddhist over there, because he was dressed in Buddhist garb. And I said, I've always been enthralled with Buddhism since I learned a little bit about it, in college at Michigan State. And I'm going to ask this guy if it's okay if I get a picture with him, because it'd be cool to have a picture of me with a Buddhist monk. I said, would you guys take my picture? They go, yeah, sure, So we get up, and I said to Ty, I said, pardon me, I said, are you Buddhist? He said, yes. I said, would you mind if I took a picture with you? He said, yeah. I said, that would be fine. So we took a picture.
Many people and help me this order, and people, crowded people say, oh, wonderful.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was like, there was like a little scene was created. I was like, wow, this is something. I go, well, that was pretty cool. So then I started chatting with these musicians again, and we all snake through the lines, and I go to my gate, right? So I'm standing at my gate, and I'm like every other person, looking at my cell phone or whatever. And Ty sidled up on me. He said, hello, and I go, whoa. And he said, are you on the flight to Atlanta? And I said, yes, I am. I said, are you? He said, yes. He said, perhaps we could sit together. And as Buddha would have it, the plane was not full. We got to sit next to each other, so I got to ask him all the questions about Buddhism that I had on this 2-hour flight. So I was writing stuff on the back of a vomit bag, I remember, about Buddhism to try to remember. And then we started singing, which I've forgotten so far. I'm happy. Remember we were singing on the plane? So he taught me that.
Happiness is here now.
Yeah, happiness is here now. And so we were singing that, and it was very spiritual. And then he grabbed my arm and he said, I'll now give you your Buddhist name. And I said, what? I said, I'm not, am I ready for, I'm so honored to get a Buddhist name that this, can't be happening to me. And he grabbed my arm and he said, you are Hy Lạc, peaceful joy. And I'm like,
very good joy, right?
Very good.
and I'm like, oh my God, and I couldn't believe it. So then my mind was reeling, and it was so cool to have met him, So then I get home back to Michigan, and I'm working, and it's about a month later or whatever, and I'm like, hey, I really haven't reached out. I called him my monk in my mind. I said, I haven't reached out to my monk yet, I think I'd say hi. So I said hi, and then he got back to me immediately. He said, Tom, where do you live in Michigan? I said, well, south of Grand Rapids is a major city. And I said, why? He said, I will have my brother call you. And the phone rings at my desk, at work. And I go, hello? And he says, hello, Tom? I said, yeah. He said, this is Hung Dong. He says, the master is here at my house in West Olive, Michigan. He said he would like to come over to your house tonight and meet you and your wife again. I said, you're kidding me. And he goes, no. He goes, he wants to drive down there and meet you. I go, that'd be fantastic, right? So I hang up the phone. I call my wife and say, honey, guess who's coming to dinner? And she said, I said, remember the monkey I told you about? And she's like, what are you, crazy? I go, no, I guess this is just the way it's supposed to happen, right? So she goes, well, what do we serve him something? I said, I think all monks drink green tea. I said, there's some green tea in the cupboard. So I said, make a lot of green tea. So then Ty came over with Hung, and we visited with her family, took pictures, and it was great. So we've been visiting ever since then. Every time I get a chance to come to Austin, or one time he came just south of Dallas, and I went out there for Kathina, is that what it's called? Kathina, right?
Right.
Celebration. And so we've been visiting back and forth, and here I am again in the Dharma with a new brother, Minh Đạo. So I'm very blessed and fortunate to have this Sangha, and I thank you all.
But on the plane, another time, you maybe you sit behind me, maybe another sitting. Another time you ask, you converse, you ask the people who sit behind me. Now I would like to sit well the monk, and that's how he read.
Yeah. I answered, yeah. I can sit next to, yeah. So yeah, I made sure I got a front row seat and could learn about Buddhism.
And other time you become a disciple of the Buddha. You see, take refuge in the Buddha on the plane.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yes. To refuge in the Buddha on the plane. Yes. And the Sangha. You were my beginning Sangha.
Right. Now, before we chanting, we sing happiness song together.
Okay.
You see?
I've forgotten.
Now, remind. Happiness is here now. I have brought my worries. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. There's no need to hurry. One more time. Another paragraph. Happiness is here now. I have dropped my worries. Somewhere to go, something to do. No longer in a hurry. Easy to remember.
Yeah.
Now the whole song, right? Minh Đạo right now, brutally that song. Happiness is here now. I have brought my worries. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. There's no need to hurry. Happiness is here now. I have dropped my worries. Somewhere to go, something to do. No longer in a hurry. You can play guitar, right?
No.
Minh Đạo brother play guitar.
Yes. Harmonica.
Harmonica.
We're putting the band back together.
Awesome. Yeah.
We're music from Buddha.
Oh, yeah.
So today wonderful meeting together. Right now we have Dharma brother Minh Đạo and Hila. Right now we are here at Pháp Nhãn Temple. Right now before we say something, right now we would like to invite Dharma brother and chanting together. Right? Okay, now we practice chanting. First, after Namo Tassa. Respectfully pay homage to the Buddha, the world honor one, the worthy one, exalted, wonderfully, enlightened one, instant offering as wonderful as the photo, as bright as the northern star. Let earth compass and take refuge in the nature of God and human beings. At the instant he lit sandalwood perfume the air, making on the auspicious rainbow cloud. I am your disciple, with all my respect offering to the Buddha of the 10 directions. May we practice the precepts seriously on time. May we practice concentration diligently. May we offer the precious fruits of insight as our offering of incense on the heart. We would like to respectfully offer incense of the precepts, concentration, insight, deliverance, and thoughts of deliverance, which reveal to the Buddha, Bodhisattva, virtuous and noble Sangha, Dhamma guardians, which got no end and understanding our whole heart is the mind. Touching the earth in differently till to the triple Dhamma. We are your disciple, wholeheartedly pay homage to the Buddha, forever present in the three lifetimes and 10 directions. We are your disciple, wholeheartedly pay homage to the Dhamma, forever present in the three lifetimes and 10 directions. We are your disciple, wholeheartedly pay homage to the Sangha, forever present in the three lifetimes and 10 directions. Right now, meditation practice around 10 minutes. I would like to invite Brother Minh Đạo to guide my brother and sister here to practice meditation.
Yes, try my best to remember that.
Right. Around 5 or 10 minutes, depending on you. Now, please.
Breathing in. I know I am breathing in. Breathing out. I know I am breathing out. In and out. Breathing in, I know I am practicing meditation with the Sangha today. Breathing out, I know I am practicing meditation for myself, for my parents, for my mother, my father, my brothers, and my sisters. In and out. Breathing in, I know practicing meditation, I am recharging my spiritual battery. Breathing out, I know that by practicing meditation, my spiritual battery becomes fuller and fuller. In and out.
Thank you, Brother Minh Đạo, for your guided meditation today. Right now, I would like to invite the Sangha give chanting. The Dhamma is deep and lovely. We now have a chance to see and study and to practice. We want to realize its true meaning. The Buddha, the world, the Buddha, the teacher is noble and spiritual leader. The teacher is the worthy to be made a friend. The teacher understands and loves. The teacher has fully virtuous conduct and insight. The teacher has obtained perfect peaceful joy and deliverance. The teacher understands the world clearly. The teacher has the ability to subjugate people. The teacher of both gods and human beings. The teacher attained enlightenment and awakened completely. The teacher deserves to be best honor and respect to the world. The Dhamma of the world, the one that has been well proclaimed by the Buddha himself, a very practical in the present, have value beyond time, and the ability to transform one's body and mind, and the ability to extinguish the phenomena of risk, anger, delusion, arrogance, the wrong will, etc. Taking refuge in the Dhamma, an intellectual one who can also cultivate oneself, master the Dhamma. Come and see, come and hear, come and understand, come and appreciate, come and enjoy the flower and fruits of peaceful joy and deliverance right here and right now in the present life. The Sangha body of the world honor once means the community on the really good, true, honest, beautiful, and appropriate path. The community directs to the Buddha Dhamma, practice the Buddha Dhamma, and live forestly with the Buddha Dhamma in the noble community. There are those who have attained and are attaining the holy fruition of Spring and Charan. The one return, the non-return, and that of Arahant comprises a formula and a fruition of holy people, accomplishes on its path of antic meditation, wisdom, then delivering with right understanding. This community deserves to be taken refuge in respect, honor, and may offering incomparable field of merit, good for the world to the world honor one another, discipline, vinaya, right mindfulness we have practiced, and the perfect precept body, and the never broken precept body, and the never polluted precept body, and the never spotless precept body, and the mingle precept body, and the precept body praise and admire by intellectuals, and the precept body with the ability to protect freedom, and the precept body leading us to fearlessness, and the precept body leading us to right concentration, and the precept body leading us to insight, and the precept body leading us to deliverance and happiness forever. Dear disciples, attend to contemplating and practicing the above four noble mental contemplations entirely. The lay follower who have the ability to put on and to crave ignorance, unhappiness, sorrow, and suffering, transform afflictions, abridge anger, delusion, etc. Go beyond the three evil realms of hell, hungry gods, and any more obtain happiness, and great joy, build a paradise or a pure land, right on earth, and open up many standing and right directions for life. Contemplation of body, mind, and karma. I'm of the nature to roll over. I cannot escape growing over. I'm of the nature to have ill health. I cannot escape having ill health. I'm of the nature to die. I cannot escape death on inherited and caused by bodily action, verbal action, and mental action. I cannot let go of them, whether it is good karma or non-good karma. Aware of this good karma, I continue upholding and developing. Non-good karma, I try to recognize and transform. Unrealistic love with one and thing I cherish today are of the nature to change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My actions are my only true belongings. I cannot escape the consequences of my actions. My actions are the road on which I stand. Freedom of body and mind. This body I not mine. I am limited by this body. I am infinite liar. I have never been born and also have never died. Look, see, white and sky is higher than sunny innumerable stars. Honor together manifests in me from the spiritual source of consciousness mind. From all life I am free. Birth and death are gated way in and out. They are the high and sick game. Smile together with me. Pray together with me. Recite the Buddha name together with me. Practice meditation. order short. Avalokiteshvaram, what practice and deeply with desire that bring us to the order short. Suddenly discover that on up the five skandhas are equally empty. After this penetration, he overcame on you being. Listen, Sariputta, this body is so emptiness, and emptiness is so this body. This body is not order, and emptiness is not order than this body. The semi-true opulent perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness. Listen, Sariputta, on phenomena bear the mark of emptiness, their true nature, or the nature of birth or death, no being, nor non-being, nor defilement, nor immaculation, nor increasing, nor decreasing. That is why in emptiness, body, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness are not separate self-entity. The attained realm of phenomena, which are the six sense organs, the six sense objects, the six kinds of consciousness are also not separate self-entities. The dwelling of interdependent horizon and their distinction are also not separate self-entities. You being, the causes of you being, the end of you being, the past insight and attainment are also not separate self-entities. Whoever can see this no longer needs anything to attain. Bodhisattva who practice the insight that brings us to the order short, see no more obstacles in their mind, and because there are no more obstacles in their mind, they can overcome all fear, destroy all wrong perceptions, and realize perfect on Buddha in the past, present, and future by practicing the insight directed to the order shop are all capable of attaining authentic and perfect enlightenment. Therefore, Sariputta, it should be known that the insight that brings us to the order shop is a Ray mantra, the most illuminated mantra, the highest mantra, a mantra beyond compare, the true wisdom that has the power to put an end to all kind of suffering. Therefore, let us proclaim a mantra to praise the insight that brings us to the order shop. Gate, gate, bara gate, bara samgate, buddhi swaha. Gate, gate, bara gate, bara samgate, buddhi swaha. Gate, gate, bara gate, bara samgate, buddhi swaha. The three refuges now I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who showed me the way of love and kindness, compassion, and wisdom, enlightenment. Heaven and rise up, right view, right talk, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Turning a path and taking refuge in the Dharma in myself. I aspire to help on people fully master the ways of practice and walk together on the path of liberation. Namo Dhammaya Dhammang Saranam Gacchami Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranam Gacchami Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranam Gacchami. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of cultivated people who vow to lead their life of ethics, harmony, and awareness unto themselves and to others, right here and right now in the present life. Heaven taking refuge in the Sangha. I am enlightened, instructed and supported by the Sangha body on the way of practice. Now, turning a path and taking refuge in the Sangha in myself. I aspire to help on people, build for full communities, to embrace all beings and support their transformation. Namo Sanghaya Sangham Saranam Gacchami Dutiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami Tatiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Sharing the merit, reciting the training, practicing the way of awareness, gives rise to benefits without limit. We vow to share the fruits with all beings. We vow to offer tribute to parents, teachers, friends, and numerous beings who give guidance and support along the path. May the merit of this practice benefit all beings and bring We are disciples of Gautama Buddha, our own way aware of ourselves by day and by night. Constantly practice and recollect the light of the Buddha. Namo Buddhaya. We are disciples of Gautama Buddha, our own way aware of ourselves by day and by night. Constantly practice and recollect the light of the Sangha. Namo Sanghaya Dhammaya. We are disciples of Gautama Buddha, our own way aware of ourselves by day and by night. Constantly practice and recollect the light of the Sangha. Namo Sanghaya. May we be well, happy and peaceful in the Dharma. May we be free from suffering, desire, anger, delusion, hatred, and ignorance. May the Buddha and Bodhisattva bless and protect on any time and anywhere. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Lana Thầy, Lana Thầy, Lana Thầy. Well done, and well done. Yeah, thank you, Dharma brother. Just finished chanting the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and the precept. And take refuge the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Right now, in the paper chanting here, and I would like to invite Dharma brother to say something about the Dharma teaching today. In the paper, for me, I daily chanting in the morning. Right now, morning do something wholesome. In the afternoon, do something wholesome. In the evening, do something wholesome. We have a joyful day and night. For me, daily chanting. In the morning, I think about something wholesome. In the afternoon, think about something wholesome. In the evening, think about something wholesome. We have a joyful day and night. In the morning, do something wholesome. In the afternoon, do something wholesome. In the evening, do something wholesome. We have a joyful day and night. We have a joyful year and life. Sadhu, Lan Thai, well done and excellent. Right now in the paper here, I'm here very clear for her to chanting. I'm of the nature to roll. I cannot escape roll. No, I'm of the nature to have ill health. I cannot escape heaven ill health. I'm of the nature to die. I cannot escape death. Ordinary agents and caused by our bodily action, verbal action, and mental action. I cannot let go of them. Aware of this good karma and non-good karma. Good karma, I try to uphold it and develop it. Non-good karma, I try to recognize and transform. You see, all relative loved one and things we cherish today are of the nature to change. There are no way to escape being separated from them. My actions are my only true belongings. I cannot escape the consequences of my actions. My actions are the raw on what I stand. Right now, that's the teaching from the Buddha, daily teaching, daily chanting. I would like my brother to say something about Minh.
So, I found that with chanting, daily chanting, and mindfulness practice, it cultivates a sense of responsibility with every thought, every word, and every action. It sets the stage for the day to be more wholesome. And that's not just empty words. It's you're generally cultivating mind states of being, which leads to genuine happiness. When we contemplate that we are of the nature to grow old, we are of the nature to be sick and to die, it puts a value on life that far exceeds any temporal or temporary desires. It's because we are impermanent. It's because this lifetime is so short and fleeting that every action has genuine worth. So the chanting and the mindfulness practice and the teachings that the Buddha shares through these chantings are meant to instill with us the mindset of impermanence and importance, that we are called to something far greater than just fulfilling every whim and desire that comes our way. That by doing this, we create more and more cycles of suffering and of delusion. But when we practice mindfulness, when we wake up in the morning and we say something wholesome, that means chanting. That means not defiling the gracious gift of life that you have this day. You wake up, you breathe in, and you realize that there's happiness in every breath, in every moment. others. When we do something wholesome, when we think about something wholesome, we are cultivating a repeated action that instills genuine wholesomeness. And not wholesomeness in this kind of empty, moralistic fashion, but wholesomeness in a way that brings true happiness. Happiness that isn't dependent on external conditions. It's happiness that comes from within. That this life is temporary, but we persist forever. We have never been born, and we will never die. These illusions of self are empty in themselves. There is no Dharma that is independent of a self. It is everlasting. Everything is interconnected. And there is true happiness that comes from being freed from the delusion of the self. Which is why we repeatedly, like a chant, is repeatedly saying the same teachings over and over again. We are instilling within our being the truth that the Dharma sets us free, that there is true happiness in every moment.
Thank you, brother Minh Đạo, to say the Dharma of the Buddha. And right now, the Dharma, you understand when you chant here. And another time, daily chanting, we practice meditation. After practice meditation, we say the Dharma like that today. Another time, very wonderful teaching of the Buddha. And thank you, brother Minh Đạo. Right now, brother Hilak, peaceful joy is right now, brother. Right now, I would like to invite you to say something about chanting today.
I'd like to speak about right speech. I'm just going to hone in on that in specific. Right speech has really helped me over time when I think about what I'm going to say. In relationships with my family, like with my wife and my child, we all have developed patterns of responding and responding to what we perceive. And again, a lot of times I've learned that perception is deception, and the truth lies somewhere, but we all come at it with a different point of view. So how is my perception any better than anybody else's? And I need to think about that, and I've been thinking about that. So when right speech happens, and right, Brother Minh Đạo, saying something wholesome and right, it does create this way of acting. It reaffirms your acting. And I'm so fortunate to have you both and all of us here as part of my song to really think about that again. So I've really come to know right speech means so much. And of course it goes on, it fits in with right actions and right thought and everything else that goes with it. But right speech is so important. And up until just recently in my life, I really didn't realize it. And it does mean a lot, and I've seen it actually work and pay dividends in my life and in my relationships. So I just want to stress the importance of right speech today in one of those instances. It's so huge and powerful.
And you see, without right speech, and we are not here. we say, every time we say, if we tell a lie. Another time, for example, today I come, but today you don't come, you didn't come, and maybe tomorrow or maybe yesterday. But right speech very important in the Noble Eightfold Path. Right speech in the right view, right talk, right speech in the third, right? In the third right speech, without right speech, and sometimes nobody is a believer, nobody is follow our way. Another time, our practice gone, and now we don't have a mutual trust. You see, there are some right speech very important. When we have right speech in the Noble Noble Eightfold Path, it's very important. The Noble Eightfold Path. Right now, what do you think about right speech?
Well, I think you said it the best. That it instills a way of acting. It reinforces what we do. So you learn that speech has the root within our actions. A lot of times, what we say to ourselves influences the way that we react to external circumstances. And as long as we see the importance in truth and right speech, it will further inform our actions and allow us to be more effective in our lives. So, and also just on a like what you were mentioning, on a more mundane note, you know, being someone that always exhibits right speech, you gain prestige, notoriety, and the trust of other people. So that when people really need help, when there's something that they are incapable with their own words of expressing or teaching, they know that they'd be able to come to us and really formulate those thoughts that they're lost in. So the Buddha was really wise when, you know, he said, we have to focus on, of course, right perception, the way we look at things, but that doesn't really mean anything without also having the right way to express those perceptions. So, yeah, thank you.
That's why in the Noble Eightfold Path, right speech plays a role in the important when we make friends and say something. Right speak when we, but sometimes we can tell a lie. For example, have people, have animal. You see, and that story. Now you can keep saying. When animal come or deer come, what do you think about it?
Oh, so there's a story that Ty shared with me. So there was a wise man who owned a lot of land in a forest, and deer and rabbits would always come by. And there was a hunter who was chasing a deer through the forest, and he came onto the wise man's land. And the deer ran off to the right side, the right wing of the forest, and was off hiding and looking for food to eat. And the hunter came to the wise man and said, I was chasing a deer through here. I saw it come to your land. Which way did it go? The wise man, understanding his precepts, with the first precept being not to kill, not to create suffering for other sentient beings. But he also knew he couldn't lie. But life kind of trumped that. Protecting life was more important. So he told the hunter, oh, I saw it go to the left. It went to the left of the property, go that way. And the hunter then went off in the wrong direction. So we see the wise man, he lied. He misled the hunter to go in the wrong direction. He told a falsehood. But the important things are intention. The intention was to protect life. Yes, he had to tell a falsehood, but it allowed the deer to live another day and the hunter to go off and maybe just find something else to eat, maybe get bored and find a mango tree or something. But essentially, you know, right speech doesn't just mean always saying the absolute truth. It means speaking out of a heart of compassion, and out of compassion, generally 99.99% of that time, is truth. You're saying things as they are. But there's a slight 0.1% chance that you may deceive in which to preserve that compassion, to express that compassion. And that's what this teaching that Ty shared with me, and then I'll share with you all through the internet. In this example, it was okay. The bad karma was far outweighed by the great merit done by the deception.
Awesome. If I might, talking about right speech, and the thing I learned from Thich Nhat Hanh's book, is when you're speaking with people and helping people, like you alluded to, you talk to them in terms that they understand. So we're not here to push Buddhism on people, but if they're a Christian and you talk to them about Christianity ways, so that whatever is positive, it helps them to betterment through that. If they're into, it even said in the book, if they're into drugs, if they're using drugs, talk to them in a drug way and to make them help themselves, maybe to get off the drugs, but communicate to them with their own understandable language to be that. So right speech takes on so much, and it is so important.
Yeah, right. So right speech very important for us. If we have time, next time we can say another topic. Right view, right understanding, right talk, right thinking, right speak. Today we say here, and next time right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. You mentioned about right speak. When we have right speak, and the sangha will build stronger and stronger, more and more stronger. right? That's why we have a respect, and sometimes that story, sometimes we can tell a lie. But tell a lie this way, we can help animal, help people. You see, the right side. But sometimes deer here and hunter come and we say another side. That's why we head together. We have strong confidence, and everybody believes us. You see, and before we stop here and we sing one song, and our time we the end of the activity today. Now here and now song, right? Here and now we practice together. Our happy life we live in joy and joy. Body and mind we live in harmony. Present moment we live so happily. Here and now we practice together. Our happy life we live in peace and joy. Body and mind we live in harmony. Present moment we live so happy. Present moment we live so happy. I think now one more time, the last time.
One more time.
Yes, one more time. Follow together. Here and now. Now, please. Hand together. Here and now we practice together. Our happy life we live in peace and joy. Body and mind we live in harmony. Present moment we live so happily. Present moment we live so happily. Present moment we live so happily. Are you happy?
I'm happy. I am happy.
So today, thank you, brother Minh Đạo and Hila brother, to be here and for practice meditation and chanting and singing together. And I hope we will build the Sangha more and more strongly. And near future, now Minh Đạo, I would like to introduce brother Hila Minh Đạo brother. Near future, maybe a few weeks more, at a time, brother Minh Đạo will become a novice monk. You see, today we are both practitioner and Dharma brother. Maybe not this life and previous life, and we are brother in the Dharma. And that's why today we meet together, and for the chanting, for the ways we follow, for the ways we go. And that's why we are here today. The brother me, maybe 10 years ago. Around 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Around 10 years. Yes, 10 years. And keep connecting. Right now we have one more brother, Minh Đạo, and three of us. Now please stand and connect together strongly. Now please stand up and put hands together. And now here, take a picture, please. Yes, and smile. One more, 1, 2, 3. Yes, one more time. One more.
What?
Yes, okay. Now one more.
A soup goes.
Yeah. Thank you, sister. One, two, three. Yes. Now put hand together. One more. Yes, put there. Cheer. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Before we stop, and invite 3 sound bell, and then we have one sound bell, and we the end of our activity today. Sharing the merits, may the merits of cultivation today be directed toward all living things and living beings. We and human beings follow the Buddha way together. Salute, Thầy, well done, and excellence. Thank you so much for your last time, I would like to invite the Sangha to have a lunch together right now at the end of the activity. Thank you.